Well, aloha, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, and any trisexual elements. It goes without saying. You would have thought, had I become a vlogger, video blogger, over the past 12 years of tropical calamity, disaster, and all the mind-bending mayhem in Absurdistan, or just spewing my silly poems and whatnot, you would think it'd be as a long-haired man, but no, I suppose that career belatedly starts after the myriad monster heads of the Hydra-headed beast of chaos, from torture to near-fatal beatings and lynch mobs and extreme violence and absurdity of all shapes, sizes and stripe, which was always laughed off at the time, obviously, gallows humour and irony being a spice of life and consolation of slaves. But it's funny, after spending that entire decade mashed and mangled and cabbaged with long hair, I am going to be returning to volunteer work, much like Lombok. But this time I'm going to segue into fighting, because these are man-made. This is a man-made malice, man-forged malevolence. It's different to the evil inclemencies of a pitiless world and cosmos. It's not earthquakes and landslides and mudslides and waves and whirlpools and all the rest of it, or volcanic eruptions, or rivers being flooded. So, yeah, here we go. And after all my ex-girlfriends, all that masochism offered by sadists, masochism sadistically masquerading as love, well, one way or another your fucking hair would fall out too. Oppa. Fucking freeing in a way. Oh, beautiful. Private Fletcher, reporting for duty as ordered, sir. My fucking hole. My views on discipline and human endeavour remain unchanged. Unlike these talking head whores whoring themselves for prominence, whores who would pay for the pleasure of selling themselves, I'm actually going to live by my words. Put something real behind them again. With 3 years in purgatorial paradise. The purgatorial palm shade of paradise, admittedly, for a pandemic. But being on a rather secluded part of a secluded small island, this shrinking peripheral realm, that's not the way to do it. Because yeah, I was tortured, but hey, I wrote poems after it. Ooh. What the fuck does that mean? Is poetry barbaric after torture? Is poetry barbaric after Auschwitz? Konzentrationslager? The Shoah by gas and bullet? The Holodomor? The Inquisition? The Crusades? Every war, every savage bloodletting in the boundless savagery, the illimitable fucking violent mayhem of our mammal species. Is it worth it? Is poetry barbaric or merely futile? One thing I would like to register if I die in the Ukraine. It's sad I'm saying this because Actually, Ukraine got binned off for a plan B, which was reuniting with my girlfriend, whose birthday it is today, and who just completed a yoga teacher training course in Rishikesh, India. But equally, I mean, you fill yourself full of love and psychedelics. And what is love? Love is the child of illusion, and parent of disillusion, and sibling of sorrow, cruel school bully to the broken. I was gratuitously tortured on the back of doing independent disaster relief work. That was a rough couple of years, with a few fights and acid dealing in the shadow of the death penalty and all that. It was a tough time. But after that, you do not date such a creature. A monogamous poet at that. You do not date such a creature. Only to be a feckless, flighty, fly-by-night little trash bag tramp. Fucking sex swine. Slosh pot syphilis pig of the Panyang play parties. Syphilitic slosh pot panganistas. Fucking brutal. Kill that shit with fire before it lays eggs, you know what I mean? And in that entire 10 months, in which I don't think she was monogamous for 1 month of it, it goes without saying. Even now I'm nauseated by the thought of being intimate with another person. But I don't know if their ideas of intimacy are mine. Shit. Who has deeper stripes in the game? I mean, who has a more fleshed out experience with intimacy? Or to awakening to the sight of cannibal demon Gestapo, diabolical masks, you're awakening to the sight of demons in devilish masks, forged from your blood and your viscera. Only to realise that the fun is just beginning because they have a luxury villa for the next 5 days and they have 5 days to slowly eviscerate you. The fun is just beginning. Yeah, I'd say that's an intimate experience. Or staring down a lynch mob, and hearing lynch mob laughter and violence randomly sparked by, you know, tribalism and some other, on the basis of some fucking spurious casus belli. Fucking nonsense. None of these people know anything about intimacy. Feckless, flighty, fly-by-night, fickle fucking feckless fucks, all of them. On an island of even more the crypto dullards have fucking swarmed it, and the Russian brushed aluminium fucking techno cyberbot 2.0 fucking wank stains, and everyone fleeing conscription now. They didn't care when fucking Crimea was taken, or Donbass, or the initial invasion, but now there's conscription. Putin's bad. Yeah, Anna Politkovskaya spent years fucking writing and telling everyone before she got shot, you know what I mean? All these talking heads. Frivolous cunts. Fucking... whose words have the solidity of wind. Or my exes. Or my various Panyang relationships or intoxications. Never be intoxicated by these fucking feckless trailer park trash bag tramps. Never be intoxicated. Stimulated. Curious, even. They should never become an intoxicant. Only a stimulant. And a brief fucking passing fancy while we're at it. But Russell Brand's and Johan Harry's, Dirty Harry, from Tainted Hack to Talking Head. All these people, kill them with fire. They're only whoring for their own prominence, self-stroking, self-regarding wankers. A slipperily evasive, habitual blagger of how Aryan Brand's is a genuine menace. Because I mean, early in the war, I wanted to go to Ukraine, almost, even though I was locked into this ultimately destructive 10 or 11 month relationship that are now shedding like a layer of skin on my fucking barnet, which is falling out anyway thanks to that shyster and a few torturers. In the literal sense, I'm not being romantically melodramatic. I mean, I was actually tortured. Not something you ever feel like you're going to have to explain to your mum, you know? After 2 months of being shell-shocked, you come home. Oh, mum, I just got tortured in Indonesia. Yeah, your son that you adopted and raised. And now, the barbarians, i.e. rogue proteins, tau proteins, the barbarians are at the gates, colonising lobes and cortices. Yeah, it's all got to go, babe. Oh, Barbara. Only the foolish scientist repeats the futile experiment doomed to piss poor fucking it yields only piss poor results. I'm the most wretchedly futile and foolish scientist imaginable. So I went through this with fucking Tracy 10 years ago. Like, how did the mistakes of 23 and 24 get repeated at 33 and 34? Albeit having taken tortured poet to inexcusably cliched depths on the basis of actually being tortured. Fuck me, I've been back in England 5 weeks now and not trained. I could have done this all ripped with my fucking, bit of joy in the scampered wiggle. Abs are sort of, shoulders are sort of, it's a pity. Oh well, I'll be strong again before Ukraine. But honestly, if you're, shall I say, a monogamist poet or hypersensitive, poetically inclined, you're not into cheap debasements of love, but only cheapen and debase the notion they speak of. Well, after 12 years on tropical islands and around New Age enclaves and whatnot, but the land of the charlatan, huckster and healer, and guru, crank and quack. Yeah, these people are fucking wolves among lambs, But don't trust for holes too, because bearing in mind, while predators gravitate to the same watering holes as prey, often some prey likes getting caught as well, you know what I mean? These people are not to be entrusted with a heart, which they'll only treat with the recklessness of, I don't know, a CTE suffering future/contemporaneous brain monk of my ilk, a spaz-frazzled space cadet. So we're all as bad as each other, Alzheimer's winter is coming. But I'm gonna die. If I was beaten out of my brains, then I will die livingly rather than live dyingly. What, a strangle wank suicide with a shibari rope in Copenhagen mid-pandemic. Fuck that, you know what I mean? I'd rather get bombed by Putin's men. Put something real behind my words again, like when I rebuilt fucking villages. Put roofs over people's heads before the monsoons came. Fed the hungry, sheltered the shelterless. Got dirt under my fingernails, got arrested, slept rough for months, Even went back and had a Muay Thai fight for charity as part of it. Yeah, I can be useful again. And you know what? My post-torture poem, why not? It may not be Invictus. Some sneering spasmonoid on the internet said that it was fucking Dr. Seuss profound. But I don't know. I can write at times. My last two lovers shed tears. They were tearful when they read one of the short stories in Surreal Dreamscapes, Mind-Bending Mayhem in Absurdistan. Only Fools Are Certain. And that is the Fletch anthology from 2011 to 22, from ages 22 to 33. So anyway, powerful and how profound, flying high through golden air, till in shadow I was drowned, powerless in my despair. Now my cold sun scorns to shine, with my soul's infernal fear. Her roses hold more thorns than mine, winter is eternal here. Battered by the endless night, shattered, friendless, in a fright. Dreams of love are shades of grey, but fray while colours fade away. Blood and nerve and bounding heart, heavy words you lightly throw. How can passion come apart, like tears in rain or the melting snow? Yet the sun still shines divine, phoenix rising, wings unfurled, golden glowing smile and shine. There is beauty in the world. There is joy and hope and love. Ride the dark nights of the soul. You can rise, transcend above that sense that you're no longer whole. In the darkness of the night, I will try to shine a light. All my pain will disappear. I refuse to live in fear. I will be a force of light, like a candle in the night. Life's cruel lessons I will take. Can take. My crystal spirit cannot break. If I fall, not if, but when, I'll stand tall and rise again. I'll annihilate these fears. I will set fire to these tears. And hopefully a few Putin's soldiers currently embarking on the criminal campaigns of cleansing, they call it, all the usual fucking bullshit euphemisms of war. Fucking shyster. What do you reckon? Is poetry barbaric or merely futile? And purely of the domain of, limp-wristed, cocoa-shunting Nancy boys of the Oscar Wilde type. These long-haired puffs. Gay. Long hair. Some queers out there, I tell thee. Some proper queers. Honestly, it's enough to make one mad enough to write a strongly worded letter. Perhaps, because is the real world too surreal to satirise? Or is that throwing in your cards? Perhaps we could just pop a jaunty little bonnet on a dog and call it satire. What do you reckon? Would that be satirical? I could fashion a trench exit with something satirically trenchant left in a handwritten note. Maybe a fucking spunk rag or something. Just think, here is, call it a mind experiment. So, just one breakup of the many. I have a one-track mind today. Even the Ukrainian front lines and the power outages in Kiev have been elbowed aside by Barbara's birthday, I'm afraid. I'm tormenting and torturing and tantalising myself with alternate histories and all the rest of it. Ooh, I should be in Rishikesh right now, mate. Behave your fucking self. Behave, boy. Yeah. Naked. Fickle selfishness. Clothed in sadomasochism. Masquerading as love. I mean, after my life, after torture and lynchings and 10 charity fights in a ring and all that, it's amazing that I don't have more scars. And even leaving a little bit of fluff on top of my bean, the main scars on my head are covered. And yeah, really, Orwell said that at 40 a man has the face he deserves, and I'm 34 now, well, 3 to all intents and purposes, but I'm not entirely sure I do have the face I deserve. It's less unsightly on the outside. It bears less scarring and testament of damage. Disproportionate amount, considering what this face has been through. And lifestyle, you know. It's not like I ever trained for any of those fights. I was still cabbaged throughout on Lucy, booze, pills and chain smoking and spliffs and whatever the fuck ever else. Now let's say you dated somebody who you wrongly believed was no longer capable of love. And I must admit, it is impressive, objectively, that Barbara could fall wildly, passionately and irrationally. Although I'm not sure any antonym applies there. But fall truly, madly, deeply in love with a person drowning powerless in despair, in a suicidal state. It is impressive, but then again, could you date that person for 6 months without sharing your overwhelmingly powerful feelings, which later was supposedly a cause for deep regret? Could you date that person for 6 months? And then, when they're depressed because they find out you're an ex-flame has organised a sex play party, so monetised fucking orgies to all intents and purposes, then this girl, your lover, who supposedly loved you for half a year already, she attends said party with resulting psychological metanoia on your part. And then you get over that, even though it's in the immediate aftermath of a pregnancy, and she wants to leave your ex-flame's orgy, this fucking flesh feast, in order to come discuss the possibility that she remains pregnant with your... Yeah, she's still up the duff with Irish truanting Leodensian Yorkshire bastard. Like, fucking behave your fucking self. I don't know how to say that in German, but, you know, I'm no 90s kid. I'm from the Yard Dankerties. You know what I'm saying? 99999. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, then we're going to Candy Flip finally, which obviously is a bigger deal to me. That is a sacred ceremony, but yeah, the one day of 20 that I was absent for, I was cheaply replaced by an ex of hers who called her a disgrace and a slut. Another charming terminology employed. And yeah, so what would have been a sort of impossible outpouring and explosion of emotion on my case, where I would have had to come to terms with and verbalised, expressed my own emotions. But yeah. And that leaves you with all kinds of, there's a childishness to the envy as well. There's just the purely sexual energy, not just the triumphant and transcendental moment of love that's been thwarted, but you also think, has she missed him then? She'd been seeing me for 6 months. And you're naked in body and soul. You're naked, completely naked in the mind body. And Lucy and Mandy. LSD and MDMA is not one to... It completely tears away your partitions. So you're thinking, did that I love you moment still come? Does he love her? Did she say she loves him? Does she love him? Does he love her? Did they have anal sex? Did she swallow his cum? Did they get up to a bunch of kink that we haven't explored? Because here's the thing, in 10 months, there's only her boundaries being explored and separately, whereas mine were merely tantalised. See why a plur-spouting hippie can go to a fucking war zone. I'd rather be bombed than deal with Panganistas and the cheapening debasements of love and the philosophical fucking jargon and spiel being plucked a la carte from the philosophical snack tray or dessert trolley. I mean, Jesus Christ, behave your fucking self. Yeah. And on we go. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it finds some larger way. Fuck it, fill in the last two lines yourself. I cannot say. That were only two of the breakups that I just mentioned. Obviously, things got a lot more hot and heavy thereafter. There was definitely a lot more shit going on thereafter, but that was probably my last opportunity to make, I can't call it a painless extrication. We spent a week there at Serenity. There's always some beloved fucking cherished words that invariably gets tainted in these situations. Serenity, joy, candy flip. In 10 months I can't tell you all the casual triggers that have accumulated. You will think me mental, believe me, if I shared them. Mad as a dickless dog, daft as Tom Cruise's favourite brush, and more fucking sideways than you presumably do already. Anyway, don't be an illiterate fucking bald-assed fuck of an unlettered pig. Don't be a greasy twat bubble. Buy my book. Well, any of them for that matter, but Surreal Dreamscapes, or probably more digestibly, although it's a short story and poetry anthology, so how the fuck is that, even if it's 500,000 words plus 600,000 words? It's fucking anthology, dip in and out of it. Bookmark the pages as you go. 12 years worth of chaos verbalised and philosophised. I mean, buy that shit. The fuck else you gonna spend $10 on? Don't be scared. Also, wolves eat lambs. The pornography of power. I had to learn some pitiless lessons in order to write that. Yeah. I fucking hate people who film themselves. No one cares, bitch. Fuck your fucking mouth noise. All experts are mammals and all mammals are fucking flatulent. Behave your fucking self. That's a problem. Like when these trailer park trash bag tramps address you, often they do so sincerely, you know what I mean? They know not what they say. I mean, of course they mean it, but they mean all these absurd promises. Like serenity, candy flip, ceremony. I met that prick the night before as well in a cafe and he was just eyeballing me. How on earth could she think that that was an acceptable... And we broke up on my birthday a couple months later, after I foolishly took us over to Samui to tend a friend who was undergoing psychosis with constant lapses and relapses due to his THC consumption. Where's the fucking discipline at? I've got more stripes in madness than all these fucking clowns on the islands, but you know what I mean? I suck it up when needs be. Where's the discipline? All these fucking drug dealers. The same narcissistic delusion that everything they've done has been for the betterment of their fellow creatures. Like they're not just get-rich-quick fucking scabby hustlers and schemers. The shabbiness of the whole fucking thing boggles the mind. It remains mind-bending. But anyway, she came over with me. Went back to Panyang, stayed at fucking candy flip ceremonies / slut disgrace / staring slime ball Sritanu fucking sleazebag cunt. Yeah, we broke up on my birthday as well. I bent over backwards only to be told no, she didn't want to trip with me, she wanted to candy flip ceremony again. I was an obstacle in the way of play parties and orgies and her doing whatever the fuck she wanted to do. And we reconciled again and again and again. But it was just to close out the chapter, the Thailand chapter in modus vivendi for her. It was purely to leave harmoniously. And then of course you're getting all the demented lies and gibberish from afar and the backtracking and the contradictions and I was really trying to race out there and I'd shackled myself. Mind-forged manacles. Better a war zone. Put something real behind your words. Well, I have fed the hungry and sheltered the shelterless, and I'm not scared of this shit. Anyway, I'll close this off because it's probably, I don't know. Do me beard as well, balls to it. Yeah, give it. The pause button is a lovely thing. Just a shame we can't apply that with life, you know. We live forwards and review backwards, cocking up in the meantime. But yeah, as regards the Barbaras and Britneys of the world, virtue signalling is not enough. Like this last communique I just got from Rishikesh, talking about how transcendental the whole experience has been and overcoming this obstacle and that boundary. I remember being referred to as an obstacle between her and fucking sex parties. Yeah. Fast track to spiritual enlightenment there. Astro-governed orgies, like the one she was told to do at Agama with 144 variables or the variants on the astrological patterning, so 144 different astrological compatibilities. So it calls for 144 lovers, essentially. As they promise, you know, that sexual diseases, sexually transmitted infections are purely karmic in their sick and twisted realm. And it's a dark and twisted rabbit hole I don't want to go down at this present moment. But yeah, all these feckless words, like her telling me, oh, it wasn't an evil day when we met. Au contraire, Belle, au contraire. Because she likes aping my favourite term, you know, it's either beautiful or instructive, and she, as savagely instructive as she was, she has the gall to label me instruction, a tortured poet that she ensnared and devastated and depleted the last remaining bit of life force. Whatever fucking quiet flame there was burning is well and truly gone now. Snuffed out, extinguished, pissed out to steaming cinders. But she's spoken about, you know, all the usual feckless gibberish. Well, it's a pity that we don't get to raise a child together because it's not part of her path, but blah-de-blah. And all these many ways you've described how you've been, how your derangement was intensified and you've been further demented and weakened rather than bolstered, and you spent 10 months in torment. But she no longer judges experience, it just is. And inverting an old joke I used to make about a Buddhist hot dog vendor about, you know, he's asked for a short-changed chav. Where's my fucking change, mate? After being told, you know, make me one with everything, dickhead. And then the chav gets short-changed. Where's my shrapnel? Where's my coinage? Change comes within. Yeah. I mean, how fucking convenient. As it always has been, there's always been a lot of convenience whenever we've broken up. And granted, that's part of just being a clever person, I think, rather than wallowing in grief and self-pity. Like a spaz-frazzled spasmonoid, as I do, but still. Oh, very conveniently exonerates her and on to the next one, and it's all instructive. Yeah, I'll get bombed by fucking Russians. We'll see how instructive that is. I mean, after being tortured, I didn't want to live anymore. I'm an undying shadow trapped in a world of light. That's sometimes a fucking cliche is a truism. I've only got a few more years before my brain it's been beaten to gelatinous mush. It's fucking treacherous. I can't control the flow of thoughts. It's no longer a delicious feast of reason. It's been fucking disrupted. We'll probably dispense with this. And with a whoop, there it is. Spluttering out. Just like the Gizmo's owner. I'm at the end of a line. Whether or not that's in the American rock and roll fucking suicide sense, or Thomas the Tank Engine just reaching the last section of track and slowly chuntering to a stop. It's on you. You're a discerning and erudite viewer, no doubt. You decide. And I'd hate to end, bearing in mind this is supposed to be an ideological crusade, so I'd hate to end on a nihilistic note. I certainly don't think that orc hunting and vigilantism should be the domain of the nihilistic, nor should violence. If anything, it should be targeted against the violent. Violence should be used on the violence. That would be using violence for good. Wouldn't you say? At any rate, I'll probably do this last little bit of bum fluff, because what's the point in having a cue ball up top? Might as well be a full-blown, like, baldy bollock baby new potato-headed bastard. Why the fuck not? Anyway. Namaste fresh. BH. Open your knees and feel the breeze. This is Chernobyl FM. Think of me when you come. Only fools are certain.